Hey, what's up, kids? It's me, Sean Paul, entrepreneur extraordinaire. And, while Midget Pawn is closed because of, the thing we're not supposed to talk about, well, Carl's looking around for a new store because we're going to be moving soon, so most of the store's already in boxes, except the back room. And it's my job to sort of put it in boxes before we move. So, but what's cool about the back room is it's also host to my own personal collection. So these are Sean Paul's actual games that I don't sell unless, the price is right. Anyways, a couple of cool things around here. This is really special to me. This is a copy of Super Mario Brothers. This obviously isn't an original case, but inside is a copy of Super Mario Brothers. I got the booklet, but you got the game. And this game here, this cartridge, is my very own first game that I have ever played in my life. I got this when I was 3 or 4 years old. I think it was late 3s, early 4. And yeah, my dad just brought it back, and he brought back a NES. And lo and behold, I still have that very same NES. This is my NES from when I was a kid. So yeah, the very first game I played is Super Mario Brothers, which is a really good game to get started gaming on. I mean, it is a classic game, it is action, it is excitement, it is Mario versus King Koopa back then, as he was called, his army, and saving Princess Toadstool, and killing all of those poor Mushroom Kingdom citizens turned into bricks, because that's what it says in the manual, these are bricks now. Anyways, yeah, this game is quintessential, and everyone should at least play it once. Now, I didn't just have the Super Mario Brothers, I had a bunch of other cool games. I also had Super Mario Brothers 2. Anyways, if you're playing this game properly, you're gonna pick my boy Luigi. Now, I could get into all of this game is just basically a reskinned Doki Doki Panic, but it's not exactly like that. See, Shigeru Miyamoto was actually developing this game with vertical scrolling, and then eventually the engine became licensed for the Doki Doki Panic, which was a cartoon, and then it became a Mario game stateside, and Miyamoto was working on this game way more than he actually worked on Mario 2 The Lost Levels. So technically, this was always a Mario game, became another product, and then became a Mario game again, if that makes sense. Of course, I would have been missing out on the good Mario games on the NES if I didn't have Super Mario Bros. 3, arguably the best in the series. Even then, there's still the eternal debate if you prefer this or Super Mario World. I say maybe the Super Mario World that has Super Mario All-Stars? But yeah, this game's got it all. Multiple levels, great selection of enemies, cool bosses with the Koopa Kids. Yeah, the game's the full package. Now, if you notice on the screen here, the left side is kind of blue, or whatever color the sky is at the moment, and the right side sort of has this little flickering effect. This is the way the game cheated to fit all of the game's stuff on the cartridge. Next up, we have, of course, Super Mario and Duck Hunt, and another game I had, and you have to say this game's name slowly, because if you say Duck Hunt too fast, you end up with the cunt, and, well, that's not what you want to call your kid's game, is it? Anyways, it's a fun game, but no, you can't shoot the dog. I also had Double Dragon, which is probably one of the better beat-em-ups on the NES. In fact, it might be the best beat-em-up on the NES. It's a really cool game that starts with some very misogynistic violence, even for the time. And, well, you're Billy Lee and Jimmy Lee, and you gotta save your girlfriend Marion from the evil Shadow King, or whatever, Shadow Boss, I don't know. Does it really matter? No, it doesn't. What was cool about this game, too, is it wasn't just a beat-em-up going to the right side of the screen and beating up people. You also had a leveling system where you would get more abilities and more moves as you fought. For example, you would need to reach a certain number of hearts before you could have the jump kick, or even the all-powerful grab and headbutt. But the more you were able to fight the bad guys without getting your own ass kicked, the more you were able to progress quickly because, well, getting hit by some characters removed experience, so the point was to just, never get hit and always hit, and you would become the strongest martial artists in the game. And, of course, you had the weapons and all that good stuff. This was really a good one. I also had my first taste of shoot-em-ups, or shmups, as people like to call them, with the game Xevious, which is a decent enough game. It's an arcade conversion. It's probably one of the better arcade conversions to the NES. one of the simpler conversions for the NES. It wasn't, say, something more complicated like a Ghouls and Ghosts where the graphics kind of got lost in the translation. So this one's a pretty good one. When it kills, 3 lives, you die, you start over from the beginning. No saves, no nothing, so you kind of have to beat this one in one go. One of the fun hallmarks of gaming at that time was pretty much no saves, no nothing for most games. So yeah, this one was kind of hard when I was a kid, but I still like playing it now and then. The only drawback, I guess I would say, is the music is kind of one note, and I mean that literally. It's just beep 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 beep. It's a little weird, especially when you add the shooting noises, so the soundtrack is kind of irritating after a while. Other than that, it's a pretty fun game. The Goonies 2. Now this is a game that I had a love-hate relationship with. When I was a kid, I didn't quite understand the whole level design. And I mean, yeah, it's simple enough. You go through doors and sometimes you come out through an alternate world, kind of like light world, dark world, except there was more like left side of the house, right side of the house. You had these RPG-esque, or these point-and-click, elements that were more like take items and you can hit things and stuff. It's a little weird, and when you're not used to, like, different kind of games, especially at the time most games were simplistic, and then you had this game where you could do all these like weird things in terms of the way you moved your character, the way you explored, and the way you interacted with other characters. So that was pretty strange. Also, for the life of me, I could not understand why I couldn't get Goonies 1. Turns out there is a Goonies 1, but it was a Japan exclusive, so in the West all we got was Goonies 2. Now here's a game that kicked my ass, 7 Ways to Sunday, Legacy of the Wizard, where you are, it's kind of like an isometric, weird Zelda game. It's hard to explain, but you get to choose 5 family members. The grandparents, you do the password system, and the other family members, mother, father, son, and daughter, and dog, are characters you can use in the fantasy world. Each character has their own unique abilities, kind of like Mario 2, where, like, for example, the daughter jumps higher and shoots further, but shoots weaker than, say, the father, who shoots really close and doesn't jump really high, but his attacks kind of kill monsters pretty much in 1 or 2 hits. This game is kind of like a weird, it's not exactly Metroidvania, but the whole game, the whole level is one huge maze. And you can go back on your steps, you can go back to the house and choose another family member. It's a unique experience, and it's very ambitious for a NES game, and yeah, it's one of the first games I played. Go figure. Another first interaction I had with RPGs was the original Final Fantasy, and boy is it rough. There's a lot of stuff that are, of course, staples of the genre today and of the series, but there's a lot of weird stuff, like thank God for the ATB system. Of course, my favorite characters were the shopkeepers, those entrepreneur extraordinaires. And my favorite game for the system, Star Tropics, which is basically a first-party Nintendo series that Nintendo sort of abandoned after the NES. There is a sequel called Zoda's Revenge. But anyway, Star Tropics is about Mike Jones, who's a young boy who is apparently a good baseball player back in Americola, and he goes to Coralcola to visit his uncle, who's now missing. And so he has to go in underground caves armed only with a yo-yo and other items he finds along the way, and he has to make his way to save his uncle, who was kidnapped by, I don't know how spoiler it is to talk about a game that's like 30 years plus now, but yeah, his uncle was kidnapped by aliens. And you had a really cool thing where to progress halfway through the game, you had to take a piece of paper that came in the box and put it in water to have a special password. Now, of course, having a collection meant that some of the games in my collection weren't as good or as fun as some of the previous ones I just mentioned. The first one is not a game necessarily that I didn't think was fun or good. It's a good game, but maybe not the best game for a younger person to start off with, especially not when you want to start them off on the Zelda series. And their first Zelda, and the only Zelda I had for years, was Zelda II, The Adventure of Link. And it's not a bad game, but it's kind of a tough one for kids, you know? So yeah, Zelda II, The Adventure of Link, is a game that I've always had a love-hate relationship with. Well, maybe a it's okay and it kind of pisses me off relationship. So yeah, all the visual hallmarks of Zelda games are there. You've got Princess Zelda, there she is sleeping. You got Link, you can throw a little sword beam when you're full health. All the sort of like superficial stuff are there, but the game itself is completely different. You have an overworld map where you can encounter enemies like an RPG, and those bring you to a smaller map, which is in 2D, so it's like a side-scrolling action game. And in that, you can kill enemies and get XP to level up. So you can level up your life and your magic and your sword attacks. And, well, it's a little weird, because Zelda usually was all about acquiring items, and now you can actually level up Link, but you can also acquire some items. You can go to towns, you can talk to people, and you have some hints to do stuff. Sometimes the hints are a little on the vague side, like this fellow here. You can go see a wizard, he's gonna give you magic spells, and there's 8 of them. And then this guy, see, some hints are really simple, like go to Parappa Palace to get the candle, sure. But if you talk to this lady here, Gorilla of Tenteri stole our treasure. Now, a Gorilla is one of those guys over here, so first of all you have to sort of brave this little desert section near the first temple. So find whatever, then you cross a bridge where you have these, I guess it's little bubbles that try to kill you, and then you go fight Gorilla of Tantari. So you get the heart piece, and then like that raises your numbers of art containers by 1, you kill Gorilla, you get 50 XP, and then you leave again through the way you came. I said you leave through the way you came. Yeah. Son of a bitch. Ugh. Anyways, you go back to this lady and she says the same dialogue, and then you're like, whoa, well, didn't I already get the treasure? Now let's go to a temple. Let's go to the first temple, which, like Zelda, the dungeons are the places where you collect keys, you open doors, things like that. It feels sort of like a this is the closest it gets to a Zelda experience. And then, of course, the first boss is Orsehead, a classic villain we've seen a million times afterwards. And then, well, when he dies, you get a key to open the door that lets you finally collect or get or something, I'm not quite sure, one of the 8 pieces of the Triforce, kind of like Simon's Quest where you collect parts of Dracula, and then of course a Dark Nut just kills me, yay, Return of Ganon, whatever. Another game I had when I was a kid was something special to me. I mentioned Double Dragon earlier. Well, my grandma got me that at the flea market, and I went with her to the flea market, and she got me, for $5 a piece, Double Dragon, and this next game. Yeah. And I know this has been discussed a lot online, and has been featured in many a great episodes of many a great YouTuber, but I have to give my 2 cents about this game too, you know. So, of course, you play as Dr. Jekyll, who needs to get to the church on time and go to his own wedding. And, well, your adventures are simple enough. Just go to the left, and you have an attack button and a jump button. The attack button doesn't do very much, and the jump button just allows you to jump. So it seems simple enough. But then you have these assholes here dropping bombs. And not just like once in a while, you got these assholes dropping bombs a lot. And then you have these things like the inconsistent patterns. That's one thing about old games that was easy to eventually like get. Like as a kid, no, but when you're older, you would understand the patterns and you would get them. But a lot of the patterns here are random, and the RNG really plays against your favor. Level 1, if you just maintain a steady pace, you can beat well enough. But now you get to level 2, and as you keep walking, then you have all these different dangers. You got these guys shoveling dirt, you got these cats that like get really crazy when the dogs or the bombs are near. And then, of course, what happens when your psycho meter goes down is you become Hyde. And then you go into the alternate world. And, well, unless you know how to play, you're just going to be using this dumb punching button. Now, on the cover art, it says use the Psycho Wave, which is a fireball that Hyde can shoot, but you have to press a directional button. Normally, I think it's up, and you have to press the punch button, and it shoots a fireball. But the first time you play this game, you don't know. About the only good feature this game has is the continue button, which makes you go back onto the level you were. So, for example, if you're level 2, you'll start again at level 2 and not from the beginning. Thanks, Grandma. Then we get into Wayne Gretzky's Hockey, which, whoa, it's made by Bethesda. Okay. Anyways, Wayne Gretzky Hockey was one of the first sports games I played, and it's probably the reason why I don't play sports games. It's kind of a really sports game. You play a select team, and I guess you can tell sort of who you are. It feels like you're playing ice hockey. And then you have, of course, the lovely crowd noise, which just sounds like a jet flying overhead. So, it's not that good a game. I guess the only thing it's got going for it is that it can truly simulate what it's like to be playing as the Montreal Canadiens. AKA, you really suck. Pfft, no glorieux? More like no glory hole.
And then we get to another game from my childhood, Robocop III. A game that I kind of liked a lot as a kid, but I didn't know better. I didn't even know that the first Robocop was actually a tiny bit more decent. This is, of course, a port from the Amiga version, and, well, the game's okay, but it's really cheap, and Robocop really doesn't move off very quickly. I guess they got that from the movie, where Robocop is basically just a bathtub on wheels. When you're done a level, you can heal up instead of just starting over with all your health, but you never get enough points to heal him up properly, so you always start the very next level with, like, little to no HP. Well, I don't think that's a good way to like get people to enjoy your game, but I guess it's a good way to make this game last longer or need to be rented again from Blockbuster, which I think was a strategy a lot of these 90s games used. Of course, you see the Ninja Otomo fight. Like in the movie, Robocop is just a clunky piece of shit, and the ninja just runs circle around me. But some quick thinking and some quick shooting, and you can really take care of this guy. But you gotta stay the course, as they say. But anyways, after the fight, you'd expect the level to end, but no, there's still some more of the second level, and then we get to the third level with jetpacks, but fuck this game.
So I didn't just have the NES when I was a kid, I also had another console that was my very own, and that was the first console that I got that wasn't a hands-me-down from an older person, which meant that, like, it was their console and they gave it to me and they gave me a bunch of games, but it was my first console that I got out of the box, brand new, was mine. And, well, that was my original PlayStation. This is mine from when I was a kid. It's awesome, and it's chipped, so I can play all the greatest games on a burned CD, as you do when you were a 90s kid. Don't lie, I know you did. So I don't know where my original controllers are, but I do have this old DualShock here, and it'll do, pig. It'll do. So of course having this PlayStation meant I needed games, and I had some cool games such as the original Crash Bandicoot, Crash 2, Twisted Metal, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, a bunch of cool games that I loved as a kid, Final Fantasy VII. But of course, PlayStation was also home to a bunch of, well, less interesting games, let's just put it that way. So basically I told my dad, I'm a big boy now, I want a fighting game. I like this Tekken you rented, and I like Dead or Alive, and I'd like a fighting game for my PlayStation because I'm a big boy now. And he was like, sure son, I'll pick you one up. And he did. And that game was Cardinal Sin. Yeah.
So as all video game fighting games start, a big war is interrupted by a woman named Sin, who arrives wielding an old magician's medallion and says, hey, instead of fighting each other, you gotta fight for me in my weird reboot-looking animation style. Now this game was made by 989 Studios, who would later go on to make Twisted Metal 3 and 4, and, well, it sort of has that same kind of cheapo 90s feel to it. It's not, like, completely disagreeable, but it's still a little bit, narmy. So, of course, the fighting game is about getting these swords that have magic spells on them, and you have to fight this girl and whatever. It's Sin, so Cardinal Sin. Sin written with a Y, because 90s! And of course your characters include Orion, whose superpower is that she's a hot babe. You have Heckler, who's a really annoying Joker type character. You have Nephra, who is a Egyptian goddess action figure lady. Then you have McCreek, who looks a lot like Rock from Soul Blade and Soul Calibur. Mongaro, who seems to be a Mongolian zombie monster, but is also a character with a farting attack because 90s. Then you have Plague, who is literally just a zombie. And then you have Vanguard, who is totally not Fulgor, I swear guys, look, he dances. And finally Finkster, who is like the Wish version of the main character from the Thief series. So I'll go with Orion to start with. And lo and behold, we're fighting Finkster, yay. Alright, loading time. Oof, round 1. So, the game sort of has some cool ideas. It plays a lot like a battle arena Toshinden game, Clunk and all. You got some pickups on the floor, which make you more powerful or can raise your health. But this is one of those 90s game where even putting the game on easy means you're gonna get your ass handed to you quicker than you can say, wow, this game sucks! I hate this character. keep at it, and you can get on to fighting Sin herself, who becomes a Power Rangers villain, and, well, one thing about Sin is she's kind of a cheap-ass boss, even on the easy difficulty. But, put enough time in there, and you can finally defeat Sin, and she turns into Kron, the, dragon monster dude, who is, of course, dragon size, which leads to some really weird one-sided fights like this. Don't you just love when bosses are cheap? Anyways, winning the game with each character unlocks another character, Tekken 3 style, and a lot of these are like a little cooler, I guess, but then you get to buy Morphia, who has the coolest opening. Check this out. Isn't that just wonderfully stupid? But yeah, the character actually really sucks. The reach isn't that far, and the attacks aren't that good. But anyways, buy Morphia. Then you can unlock Sin, and you can even unlock Kron himself. And then what does a Kron-on-Kron match look like, you ask? Well, this is what it looks like. Yay! Probably the highlight of this game.
So needless to say, that didn't quite scratch the itch that I had for fighting games on my PSX. So I was like, hey, Mortal Kombat 4 is going to come out soon for the PlayStation. I know what you're thinking. Mortal Kombat 4, really? Hey, I was a kid, it looked fancy, and I played it at the arcades, and it was fun, and had lots of blood and lots of gore. Well, as much as early computer graphics could have, but still, it looked pretty cool for a kid at the time, and I was like, I want Mortal Kombat 4. So my dad, who again I love very much, and I'm very grateful for all the gifts he's given me, but still, you know, his choice in games, little axe. Anyways, he says, hey, guess what I got you? And I'm like, you got me a Mortal Kombat? And he says, yeah, son. And then he presents me with this. Again, yeah.
Here we go.
You will fail.
Ooh, I love that. You will fail. Got you. Alright, let's go after Scorpion. And so here we go with the first enemy, and the first thing you notice is Sub-Zero does not have his ice powers from the start. You need to unlock those with a level up system. Yay! Another thing you'll notice is instead of going left or right properly, you have to press the L2 button to turn your character left or right, which causes fights like these. You can of course rejuvenate your health with some potions and herbs and items like that, but some of the items are weird. Like this tablet you have to read in your menu and not on the actual game. To do little jumpy stunts like this. Enemies get easier as you go along because you have more and more powers and you get used to the gameplay, but then you have these hazards like this, where you have to get through these things, which kind of like reduces drastically the numbers of lives in your life counter. Whoever designed these deserves to actually play this game. Ugh. Come on, 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 fuck it, I'm going! Alright, so there's a rope that you climb because it's right in front of you. Why else wouldn't you climb it? Only to discover that, well, it leads to literally nowhere. So you keep going forward until you find your good friend Scorpion. And of course, he's a cheap boss fight who uses all the cheap tricks. But of course, that's where the freeze blast comes in. Boom! Uppercut. And then, of course, you can do the greatest Mortal Kombat move of all time, the sweep kick. Am I supposed to have a finisher here? Nobody told me about these in the game. Okay, whatever. You get the map, you open the rope, and then, and only then, do you get to go up the gosh darn rope, which brings us to the most fun aspect of this game. The live action cutscenes. Hey, we have the first appearance of Quan Chi, who comes to the Lin Kuei, who is a Chinese organization where all the members are white surfer dudes from California. So, you know, consistency. And then, of course, you have this wonderful shot, which I don't know why they didn't put this in any of the movies. This would have really totally made Annihilation a better film. But anyways, Sub-Zero climbs the side of the mountain and goes into the first temple, the Wind Temple. Okay, fair enough. The other level was okay. It had some of those hazard stuff, but it wasn't too bad. Let's go in the Wind Temple. All right, let's go. Oh no, is this gonna... Oh no. Yeah, okay, so they want us to do some platforming. One thing I didn't say before is that to jump, it's like in the Mortal Kombat games where you have to press up and not an actual button. So whatever you're doing in this game for jumping is you press the up button, which is really, really counterintuitive. And then some of these levels have like things like here, the wind pushing me up. You have to wait for this. This visual effect here, I kind of like. It's very 90s, this kind of like 3D platform thing. That's kind of not too bad, this little corridor thing. But then you have to press up, and whoa. This, what? Really? Okay, no good warning. There's a little bit of a noise, but it's not like the biggest warning. But anyways, you just jump, Alright, let's just get this guy again. Okay, let's go. Oh, I didn't wait for the wind. You have to wait for the wind. Okay, let's beat this guy here. Like, okay, let's just leave here. Wind is here. Good. Really? The first platform? Okay. Sometimes the up button doesn't feel like pressing jump. Sometimes it just doesn't feel like working. But that's okay. That's okay. That's what we all got all these lives for. Come on. Come on! Okay, okay. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. Fuck! Alright, let's go to the other level now. The Earth Temple. It's got more hazards, fair enough. That's not too bad. These holes keep opening up and closing. This is not too bad. This is actually kind of fun. Okay, cool. And then you have to find the first key, which is located right in between these axes. Okay, sure. I'll get the first key here. Not a problem. Just gotta concentrate. Gotta... Whoa, shit. What? There's a pit? Fuck this. Next level. The Water Temple. Okay. Alright, let's just beat this single, really easy to beat enemy and... Are you fucking kidding me? Alright, more of this platforming shit. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Ah! Okay, I got lucky. Oh fuck! Okay, I didn't get lucky. Next temple, fire level. Okay, fine, whatever. Let's just run out of here and... Alright, next level, the bridge. Okay, so I'm fighting these Stargate guys. I got this little distraction here to fight this thing, and it is, yeah. The amount of damage that I'm not doing to it is insane compared to the amount of damage. Take this guy, for example, too. He's got all these moves. Like this, I'm playing this on easy just to record this footage, but Jesus. Like, this isn't easy at all. Ugh, fuck this. And of course, to rub salt in the goddamn wound, they have a trailer for Mortal Kombat 4. So not only did I not get the game I want, I also had to watch a trailer for it. Well, I didn't have to. I pressed the button because I'm kind of a masochist like that. But still, look at this. Look at how much better this game looks. Look at how good this game looks. Ooh, I need to have Mortal Kombat 4. Ah, no, I didn't really need to have it. But this trailer was kind of funny, and I love how they added that at the end.
What a piece of shit. But eventually I made friends who had the good Mortal Kombat, and who had a Tekken, and who had Dead or Alive, and who had a Nintendo 64, so I could go to my friends and play Super Smash Bros. Instead, and forget all about Mortal Kombat Mythology's Sub-Zero. Like everyone should. Anyways, those were the first games that I've ever played in my life. And, well, I guess this is fun. It's kind of, you know, stress relieving. And you know what? I'm gonna do more of these. So next time we're gonna play all the games based on Schwarzenegger movies. And, well, from the C64 to the today. Whatever's out today that stars Arnold, so we'll do that. Anyways, my name is Sean Paul. You know what I'm playing. And please, leave a like, subscribe, and, you know, comment. And even go on our Twitch, twitch.tv/the Resellers. And, well, that's it. I'll see you next time. Brap, brap. Aw, yeah.